Today I'm going to create a piece of art using every single pink art supply I own. This challenge is inspired by Drawing with Waffles. I've linked her original video in the description below if you want to check that out. I started out with a sketch of what I wanted to draw with a pink erasable pencil. Originally I wanted to use purple, but I didn't want to copy Drawing with Waffles video, so I chose turquoise as my colour instead, but I only have 3 pens and 1 tube of paint in turquoise. And Drawing with Waffles drew herself, so I decided to use pink as I currently have pink hair. I used a bright pink fine liner for the line art. This is just an ordinary tripless fine liner. Next I'm using my hot pink Primsa coloured pencil to add a bit of shading to the skin, and then the darker processed red coloured pencil to colour in her eyes and hair. I'm hoping I'm going to do a good job of this and it won't look too overcrowded and pink, but I am using a lot of supplies, so it's going to be really interesting to see what it's going to turn out like. I then used my light pink Copic marker to highlight her cheeks, nose and knees. I have a lot of Copic markers, so I'm not sparing them, especially since they are quite similar in shape and I have to use all of them. For her skin, I am using Copic marker R20 in blush to cover her. I'm a little bit worried that this might look a bit dark, but I can just darken up other bits of it as well, just so she doesn't look too pink. Then to darken her hair and eyes, I use one of my pink Artezia pens. And then I use some more markers to build up on top of her hair colour. I used this pink marbled washi tape to create this interesting texture on her dress, which I really like the outcome of. I have a dress like this in real life, which is pastel pink in a velvet fabric, and I think this washi tape kind of made it look like it could be velvet, and I definitely think it just added a bit more texture to the illustration and didn't make it just as, you know, plain pink. It adds something to it. I used a craft knife to cut round her dress and remove the washi tape. I then went over the outline again where the washi tape covered with the fine liner pen that I used at the beginning. I used another Copic marker, Salmon Pink, to add more shading to the body and to colour in the t-shirt. I then used a lighter pink fine liner to add stripes to the t-shirt. It's quite pale, but I think it's a good thing as I don't want to overdo it with the patterns, but I have still used it and you can still see the stripes in the final illustration. I used Sugar Almond Pink Copic marker to colour in the fabric part of the shoes, and then Rose Pink for the dress pocket. I then decided to use my watercolours. I used the lighter watercolour pink for her soles and the darker for the leaves in the flowers. I used another Copic marker to colour in the middle darker parts of the flowers. I I then used my Artesia pens and some cheap unbranded markers with some water to create a sort of tie-dye effect on the petals. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and I think this was a really effective way of using up my remaining markers. At this point I was struggling of ways to use up the rest of my pink art supplies. At this point I still had 2 rolls of washi tape, 4 tubes of acrylic paint and 3 tubes of gouache left. I did experiment a bit when I made these petals, as I didn't really know what I was doing and I was kind of making it up as I went along, but I am really happy with the final result. I used dark acrylic pink paint to add in the details and a bit of an outline to the flowers. I also used some of the other colours too and went over bits with a fine liner and added some more details. I think this really helped make the flowers stand out and define them a lot more. At this point I had 2 washi tapes and 3 tubes of gouache to use still. I decided to use the pale pink washi tape to go behind the flowers and cut it out in a circle. Again, I used a craft knife to do this. I found it a bit tricky to cut around the flowers as they were quite detailed and it was kind of hard cutting around them as they are more circular shaped than, say, the dress, which was mostly just lines and kind of more square. But I managed to do it eventually. I used my pastel pink and pearl magneto gouache to add highlights to her hair and other parts of her, such as her eyes and her knees. I then applied dark pink acrylic paint to the darker parts of her hair to give it more depth, as I thought it was still missing something. I have already used this art supply already earlier in the video, but I decided to use it again as her hair was definitely missing something and needed something more to it. Then I got the cherry blossom print washi tape to go underneath some of the other flowers, and I also cut that out into a circle shape as well. Then I only had 1 art supply left, which was my gouache in pastel rose, and I used that to paint the last circle background behind the roses. I did find this challenging quite hard, as I did find it difficult to use every single pink art supply I had, but I did successfully manage to do it. So this is the final illustration, and I used every single pink art supply I own. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please press the thumbs up button if you like this video, and comment below if you'd like to see anything similar or if you'd like me to attempt this again but with a different colour in the future. Thanks for watching, bye!